When it comes to the main character Koichi's love interests in My Hero Academia Vigilantes, there really aren't that many. The writer, Furuhashi, set the tone from the start that the series wouldn't focus heavily on romance and instead focus on action. That said, there are still a few characters worth talking about, and one of the characters who stands out is Popstep, also known as Kazuho Hanayama. At the very beginning of the series, Koichi is a freshman in college, while Popstep is just starting high school. Put in about a 4-year age gap between them. That age difference actually plays a subtle role in how their relationship develops. Early on, it contributes to the dynamic where Kazuho clearly starts developing a one-sided crush on Koichi, while he just sees her as a younger friend and a teammate. Koichi first meets Popstep when she's performing as her street idol persona. He helps her out by warning her that police are nearby, and they run into each other again not long after, when Koichi, after getting beaten up, starts doing small acts of heroism around the city. In an alleyway, Popstep approaches him to say thanks for tipping her off during her concert. It mentions she saw him get jumped at his convenience store job, and they go back and forth with Popstep calling him lame and that he can be an usher at one of her performances, and with Koichi snapping back stating that he's just trying to be a good guy. This really sets the precedent for how their relationship goes. A few minutes later, Popstep is attacked by thugs, and even though Koichi is hesitant to act, he ends up saving her indirectly, with a lot of help mainly coming from the GOAT Knuckle Duster. From that point on, the three of them team up as vigilantes, patrolling Naruhata and dealing with everything from petty crimes to major threats. But Koichi and Kazuho's connection actually goes back even further. Years before they started working together, Koichi saved Kazuho from drowning in a river after she lost control of her jump quirk when she was just a child. He gave her his limited edition All Might hoodie to keep her warm and ran off to make it to his hero school entrance exam, one he ended up actually missing. That choice changed the course of his life. Kazuho, on the other hand, kept the hoodie all those years and remembered that moment fondly, even if Koichi had no idea they had met before. And after this encounter, she would watch him do his good deeds around the city, and she started to idolize him. She also felt slightly guilty about this, and this would be one of the reasons she would encourage him to become a hero so often. As the years go on, their bond deepens. Koichi supports Kazuho's dream of becoming an idol, and she continues to push him towards becoming a pro hero. It's clear she has feelings for him, but Koichi, being the classic oblivious nice guy, is totally unaware. And like I previously mentioned, this might also be in large part due to the age gap and Koichi not really seeing her in a romantic light. Also, Kazuho's tsundere tendencies make it even harder for her to be honest, and although they've worked side by side for years, Koichi still doesn't know basic things about her, like where she lives or what she likes. The turning point comes when Kazuho is kidnapped by number 6 and transformed into Bebop. Koichi puts everything on the line to save her. For the first time, he starts to reflect on what she really means to him. After rescuing her and realizing how serious things had gotten, he promises they'll have an honest conversation when the dust settles. In the hospital, after they obtained all their injuries from their battles with number 6, Kazuho gets wheeled into Koichi's room and she gives him a special edition All Might hoodie as a thanks for saving her life. But she doesn't say a single word. Koichi expresses gratitude for the gift and claims that he's past wearing All Might hoodies. Kazuho silently leaves the room. In an instant though, she came running back to tell him how much she cares about him and how he's an idiot, and embraces him with a hug. But still, she couldn't get past her tsundere personality and she didn't confess. When Koichi eventually moves to America to pursue his dream of becoming a professional hero, Kazuho chooses not to confess her feelings. She doesn't want to hold him back and decides to let him go, at least for now. But the two continue to keep in touch, texting each other and staying close despite the distance, which is a pretty realistic ending of their relationship, considering that a lot of relationships in life don't get a proper ending as people move on and do different things. The second major love interest in Koichi's story is Makoto, and her relationship with him plays out quite a bit differently than Kazuho's. Makoto meets Koichi while they're both at university. At first, she offers to help him with his studies, but her real motivation is a bit more calculated. She suspects Koichi might actually be the vigilante known as the Crawler, and she wants to use him for her thesis on vigilantism. Her suspicion doesn't exactly get confirmed right away, mostly because she accidentally calls him the Crueler, and his denial doesn't trigger her lie detecting quirk. Still, it doesn't take long before she starts getting involved in his world. As the two spend more time together, they grow closer. Koichi develops a crush on her, even getting a little jealous when another guy flirts with her. Makoto, on the other hand, initially sees him just as a friend. She even agrees to pretend to be his girlfriend in front of his mom as a favor, though the ruse fails pretty quickly. His mom sees right through it. Despite this, their friendship continues to build. Things really shift after the monster cat incident. Koichi saved Makoto, and she finally realized that he actually is the Crawler. Seeing him in action, putting others before himself, starts to change how she views him. From then on, she becomes more involved in his life. She starts to show signs of genuine affection, and at one point even blushes while telling Koichi's mom she considered the offer to join the family. What makes Makoto stand out is that she truly respects Koichi's choices. She keeps his secret safe, even from her own brother, who is the detective. After spending a few years abroad working with Captain Celebrity, she comes back to Japan briefly and finally tells Koichi how she feels. She confesses that no matter what kind of future she imagines for herself, Koichi is always in it. She tells him that his optimism is what she loves most about him, but rather than pushing for a relationship right away, she tells him to take his time and figure things out with Kazuho first before making any decisions. It's a surprisingly mature and respectful move. Now, speaking of Kazuho, things do get a little tense between her and Makoto, especially early on. At first, Kazuho is clearly jealous of Makoto and feels insecure about her closeness with Koichi. While Makoto doesn't seem to notice this at first, their relationship improves over time. Makoto ends up helping Kazuho overcome stage fright and supports her idol career, which leads to a mutual respect between the two. She even promises not to reveal Popstep's secret identity to anyone. Even after confessing to Koichi, Makoto is sensitive to Kazuho's feelings. She encourages Koichi to talk things out with her first. Unfortunately, Kazuho overhears this conversation, misinterprets the situation, and distances herself from Koichi, which leads to her being manipulated by number 6. And of course, during this time, Makoto stands by both of them, advocating for Kazuho and ultimately helping reunite her with Koichi after everything is resolved. By the end of the series, Makoto and Koichi end up moving to America together, where she becomes his translator and supports his new life as a pro hero working under Captain Celebrity. Whether their relationship becomes something more romantic is left mostly to interpretation, but it's clear that they care deeply for each other and are building a future side by side.